I challenge you
Me?
to a rap battle.
A rap? Don't do this to me.
Ready?
Don't do this to me.
Okay, you ready? You ready?
This ain't gonna be
My
fun.
name is Derek and I have a house. Inside that house lives a mouse. With that mouse, I go to the market and then I say, hey, park it.
Okay.
And
My name is Isaac and I like movies. I like them because they're really groovies, except when we go and see the ghost and they don't have a really good host. They call it possession.
that was really cringy.
That was bad.
I hated that. Should we start over?
Yeah, maybe we should. Okay, now that your concept is The Exorcist Believer 2023 and rap about it.
Oh, I went to the movies and I saw a movie because that's what you do when you go to the movie.
Yeah.
I saw Exorcist and it sucked, and that gives away all the plot. I don't know. I can't rap. I can't freestyle rap.
Who started this stuff?
Okay, listen, Isaac, co-host of the podcast.
Okay,
I'm not a rapper.
Derek, co-host of the podcast. I will listen.
This is That Was Horrible, a movie where we podcast.
Nope, close. Try take one more swing at it.
This is a podcast where we movie.
Yeah, this is a podcast where we movie, horror movie.
And I mean, sometimes horror movies. Sometimes we're accidentally swayed into watching action movies.
Yeah.
Because, like, some people hold a gun to us and they're like, you want to watch this? You better watch John Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
And I'm like, that's not a bad movie. I love that movie so much. And then they're sad because
Yeah.
we don't review that movie.
But the whole concept of this podcast starts around, sometimes people, the movies get rated really bad, and actually they're
Yeah,
kind of fun
they
and they're a
do.
good time. I don't know if that was the case this time, guys.
I don't know either. Because The Exorcist Believer,
From
believe
2023.
Believer it or not,
Yeah. Believer, I hardly know her.
there it is.
Wah,
There it
wah,
is.
wah,
Just
wah.
call you Justin because you're a believer.
Yep, I'm Justin Believer.
And then I saw her face.
What? Now I'm Justin Believer.
Not a trace of Justin in my eyes.
I'm Justin.
Are we gonna get? I mean, I keep making the
It's
demonetization
a,
joke.
I know we've never made any money off of this. That's not why we're here.
Don't tell anyone that.
Okay, sorry.
That makes people think we suck.
No, I don't want anyone here to think we're just here for the moolah, for that scratch, the cheddar.
Listen,
we're here for the good times.
We would not
and
be
hang out with
recording.
you guys.
We would not be recording.
Hey
what I
guys,
was like,
how you doing?
you're still going.
No, it's okay. No, I'm talking to them. You can talk all you want. I'm talking. Oh, really? Oh, that's super cool. That's
that's
great.
really nice.
Oh, you saw that movie? Well, I bet that's a lot better than what we just watched.
What movie did they see? I can't hear him.
Oh, well, it's confidential. It's doctor confidentiality. I guess because we're both doctors in
give
this
me the
situation.
news. I gotta.
Everyone
Doctor
listening-
Confidential.
Everyone listening to this is a doctor.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the good news, listener? You're a doctor. I don't know what you're a doctor of, but you're a doctor
Officially.
of something.
Yeah, go print it out. Just go find a fake doctorate online and print it out, put it on your wall. That was horrible horror boy say. That's okay. You're a doctor now.
The doctor ate. I bet he did.
Doctor.
Do you get it?
Oh my god.
Like the
Cell
doctor.
phones. Yeah, some stores do.
It's literally my favorite joke.
But you're a doctor now. You can be a doctor in bad horror if you've listened to enough. If you listen to every episode up until now, you are you have a doctorate in bad horror.
But if you didn't, then you're like one away.
If you
or
skipped an
2
episode,
away,
you gotta
or
go.
3
You
away.
gotta do the homework. I'm afraid. I'm sorry about it. I don't make the rules.
Listen. There's only
the rules
what?
come to me at night. They're beamed into my head, same as everybody else. Just like that. Whoa! There's a new idea. The new idea says we should talk about this movie that we watched. Right? We watched it in theaters this time again, which we haven't done since we watched Children of the Corn.
Which was what, like 5th episode?
Yeah, it was pretty early on
It was so early. And
Fortunately, though, we went and saw it with nobody else in the theater.
this time.
Yeah.
This time we did.
Because
Last time we had people in.
It was released on like October 6th, I want to say, and we watched it on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So like it's been in theaters for a little bit now. I honestly thought we might have missed it. But
I did too.
Yeah.
But if you're listening today, October 24th,
Yeah.
it just released on video on demand.
Exactly. So yeah, if you want to
hey.
if you want to check out any of what we say today, go listen. Although I don't
I will
Derek,
say-
what
I
would
mean,
they-
I think-
you'll find
okay.
out. You'll find out.
I think it's important though because I mean we're very spoiler heavy. We're basically the Cliff Notes of horror movies.
That's us. We're the Cliff Notes of horror movies.
Right. So like I think if you want the Cliff Notes version of this movie, listen to the podcast. If you actually want to go see it, I'd say don't. But But
Yeah, don't go to the.
you'll spoil the entire movie by listening
Listen,
to us.
I'm a believer in like supporting theaters and going to see movies in them. I do dislike when movies come out and they're like, oh, it's available on HBO Max and in
Yeah,
theaters on the same
absolutely.
day. So it's like, oh, cool. So I can just keep paying the subscription I already pay and not pay like $12 for a ticket, you know?
Yeah.
Which I dislike. I like going to see movies in theaters.
Me too.
I don't know if this one's
didn't
worth
know.
that. I don't know.
I personally think that if I had seen this movie,
Don't know if it's worth it.
I think that if I had seen this movie like either by myself or in like a group where we were surrounded by other people, like if there had been one other person in that theater with us,
Oh yeah.
I would have had a terrible time.
Because we were cracking jokes and getting up out of our seats
I
to yell at the screen
I
sometimes.
think multiple times I flipped off the screen and yelled
Exactly.
at the screen,
And so
which
if we
was
could
not
not-
appropriate behavior for a movie theater.
If
But
we
there's
could
no one
not
else there.
allow this like fun, raunchy, crazy commentary over the top of it, I don't know if we would have been able to finish it with our lives intact.
No, I don't think so either. I feel the need to reiterate right now.
Yeah.
At this moment,
reiterate.
I do not do that in movie theaters. I'm not a bad moviegoer. I'm a good guy.
movie people.
Listen, there was no one else in the theater.
Yeah.
There have been 2 times in my life where I've done stuff like that. And the first time was when we saw Beau is Afraid.
Yes.
Because it was like 1 a.m. and there
Wow.
was no one else in the theater.
We
Remember
got
that?
up out of our seats and we're running around. It was crazy.
There was a lot. And then this time, because there was no one else in the theater,
Uh-huh.
it was 10 o'clock on a Sunday
Only
at Exorcist
then.
Believer.
Only then would we do that, you know? Because there was actually a time where we had a little group of people and the theater was empty. And we were being kind of like boisterous, talking with each other because we had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah.
Then a family came in
Yeah.
and we all shut up.
We did.
Because that's what you do. You can talk to your friend, but do it quiet.
Do
Be
quiet,
like,
do whisper.
hey man, listen, what's that guy doing? I don't understand. What's his name again? Oh, they're married? Oh, that's terrible. But with their siblings, oh no.
What?
I don't know. I was
What
just
movie
going-
were you at?
I was Pride and Prejudice.
Like
Doesn't
the
matter.
sequel to Oedipus? Wait, what? Are you... Their siblings married? No, you're watching Game
no,
of Thrones.
No, oh, that's right. That's what
Yeah.
it's sorry.
Not Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice, Game of Thrones, Tomato
Oh
Tomato.
no, Mr. Darcy's been beheaded.
Oh my god. And there's a dragon.
Whoa. Pride and Prejudice with zombies? More like Pride, and Prejudice
and
with
dragons.
White Walker.
Oh, we were going very different places there.
We're really good at coming up with the same idea at the same time differently.
But just very different from each other.
Yeah, so-
we could probably I bet we could
Do you know what would make this movie better?
what would make this movie better?
I think
ready?
you think of what I'm thinking.
Am I? I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay, ready? We're gonna count down and say it at the exact same time.
Okay, I don't think we're out there.
I don't think we are either.
Okay, ready?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Demonic karaoke.
Oh,
no! Yes, it would. That's what this movie needed. Screw all talking like in the voice of Pazuzu or whatever like that. Like, let's get down and get some like fun. Like what?
Okay, so I imagine I imagine the girl who gets possessed. The girl who we're so stupid. The girl who gets possessed. I imagine she stands up and everyone's like, oh, "Did the demon release you?" Why no, the demon did not release me.
And
Play
these are
that
here like
funky music,
like
white
like
boy.
a beat under it.
First I was afraid, I was better. You know what I mean?
What would they sing?
That.
That's what they
I
would
Will
sing.
Survive.
I will survive. Or like Staying Alive is a pretty good one.
Yeah, Staying Alive's pretty good. Also, Highway to Hell. Pretty
Highway
good.
to Hell, not bad.
Stairway to Heaven.
Dead or
probably
Alive
wouldn't be
is probably
sang.
pretty good.
Sung.
And I want it. Yeah. Your daughter's alive inside me, the demon. Hello, it's me.
Hello, it's me. What if for once we got an
once.
Exorcist style movie, like an exorcism movie, possession movie,
An
whatever you wanna call
Exorcist movie musical.
it. And I mean, okay, so quick shout out to our friend Spencer.
Yeah.
Who did create a possession musical.
That's
It's called
true.
Possessive the Musical. You should check it out on Spotify, actually. Me and Isaac are in the cast.
No joke.
album.
We were part of the cast recording for
I feel
a
like it's
musical.
important to bring that up anytime we talk about possession.
Honestly, though.
Because it's a great musical. It's hilarious.
Possessive! Exclamation mark at the end. Possessive, the musical. It's
about
a little cute little comedy.
Yeah,
about a possession. Yeah, you
tell-
tell. No, you
no,
tell.
you want to tell?
No, yeah,
You want to
go.
tell? Same time.
Okay.
It's about a family.
family
No, this is terrible.
whose son gets
Gets possessed
possessed by a demon, and
and they like it.
And they like the demon is better than the son ever was.
It's the greatest premise for a musical I've literally ever
very,
heard.
very funny.
Except for Hair. Because
Derek played a paranormalist and
the demon.
And the demon. Yeah, exactly. It was pretty
and
fun.
you played my minion.
I played his minion.
It was very fun.
I had to be submissive to him.
And he did everything I asked him to.
That's just a little taste of Possessive the musical. Go check it out. It's on Spotify.
Anyway, that was fun. Back to demonic karaoke, though.
Back to demonic karaoke. Now, where are we going with this?
I don't know. I just thought it was a really funny idea.
I know,
also, I think it'd be really funny if, like, what if there was like a really suave demon? Okay, because like you get possessed.
You were a very suave demon.
Okay, I was, but like in one of these movies,
I looked up demonic karaoke, and the first thing that popped up is Imagine Dragons' Demons karaoke version.
That's funny because I've been singing their song "Believer" or whatever.
That's
in my
true.
Head.
That's close.
Is Imagine Dragons just possessed?
It's coming up. Karaoke Devil. So that was fun.
But I think it'd be funny if like the priest or whatever walks in and is like, "Go away, demon, go away," or whatever they say. I call upon you, Jesus, over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then like the demon just like crosses its legs and like. That was very nice.
Demon would never cross their legs, Derek. That would burn them, silly boy.
All right, so
demons can't cross their legs.
Believer it or not, we watched Exorcist Believer.
I sure can't believe it.
2023. It is rated R for restricted audiences, which means you have to be like 18 to see this movie.
Yeah, if you want to be a little kid coming to watch this movie, you better bring a parent. Better bring a parent to make sure you don't pee the bed at night times.
Hey, that's a little bit of foreshadowing.
That's a little bit of foreshadowing.
Because pee happens.
Listen, in this movie, piss happens.
I love the idea that
The Exorcist Believer, piss happens.
Yeah, you're with me. I love the idea that there's like a poster for this movie and then like there's like a little stamp, piss happens.
Piss happens, yeah.
Or like the like content advisory warning they put on like CDs.
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
CDs?
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Explicit content. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Explicit. I always called it explict and then
I straight up used to think it was explicit or explict before I heard the
explicit.
It's just like when I was a kid, I thought lingerie was lingerie. No, for real. For a long time, I thought lingerie was lingerie.
So anytime you heard anyone talking about lingering around, you're like,
"Whoa, sexy time!" Because nobody ever talks about lingerie around a child, so it took me a while to actually hear that word said out loud.
Yeah, I get you.
Anyway, so yeah, explict CDs.
So Exorcist Believer was written by Peter Sattler, David Gordon Green, and Scott Teems. It was directed by David Gordon Green. Let's talk about David Gordon first, shall we?
Let's chat. Let's discuss.
Let us discuss him. So he was the director for the reboot of the Halloween series.
So like the latest three.
Yeah, so the last three.
For some reason, my immediate thought was the Rob Zombie ones. I'm like, well, his name is not Robert or Zombert, so I don't know. Like, how did I fuck that up?
I love Robert Zombert. Robert Zombert's my favorite actor.
Love me some Robert Zombert.
Love me some Robert Zombert.
Gritty goriness of Robert Zombert.
Which we have like a mixed feelings about the recent Halloween trilogy. I thought they were fine.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends was kind of meh.
It was. Listen, to get on my high horse about Halloween Ends, they were marketing it as a completely different film. And so when you go in, you're like, yes, this is what I was expecting. That is not what they gave you in the slightest. It was a very, very different thing. I would have liked it more if it was made like 6 movies ago, not as like the penultimate, like this is the finale of this trilogy. It did not work as the finale for that.
It felt rushed. And it also felt like 2 scripts packed together. But
yes.
Anyway, that's
one of those
we
movies.
could have an entire other episode. He also directed a few episodes of Mythic Quest, which is a fantastic show. So it's super weird that he's doing. I don't know. That's just like 2 completely different veins. I don't know why those are connected.
Mythic Quest and Halloween.
But interestingly enough, he was the one who did that trilogy. And he was brought on to do the new trilogy. So Exorcist...
Now, Derek, I only saw one movie.
Now, hold on.
It's 2023. There's no other movies
now,
out.
Sally Pally, I'm about to explain.
I'm Sally Pally, and I'm telling you, there's one of them movies. I didn't see 2 nor 3 movies.
Now, if you'd stop being a lazy-ass son of a bitch... I don't know where that came from. I just wanted to be
Rebecca,
mean.
you done hurt my feelings.
Rebecca
Gribbs hurt my feelings.
Is my name Rebecca now?
Her name is Rebecca Gribbs is your name.
Rebecca Gribbs.
So tell me about, there's a trilogy planned? Excuse me?
Yes. So Blumhouse, back in good old June of 2021.
Back in June of 2021, is that what you said?
Yeah, they collaborated with Peacock and Universal
Universal Pictures.
Peacock Pictures. Universal Pictures collaborated with Peacock and James Blum of Blumhouse to put together a deal to buy the rights to the Exorcist movies. So there are 3 movies.
Yep.
Currently, well,
3.
Technically 4 now. There were 3 Exorcist movies.
Uh-huh.
The first one's fantastic. The third one is great. The second one is apparently a piece of dog crap.
Ooh, dog crap, even. Not even worth saying shit. It's like, that was dog crap.
I think it is important to note, don't yell at me. I'm going to watch them. I have not seen the original Exorcist. I know. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but it kind of scared me when I was a kid. So like, it's one of those movies that I just kind of stayed away from, which is like, that's pretty common because that movie is globally considered to be the scariest movie of all time.
It's a spooky
like
time.
People like vomiting in the theaters, running out of the theaters.
There's
like
heads that's turned backwards.
Yeah, there's
priests.
Talk
Scary.
about fellatio,
priests.
which is terrifying.
Mothers doing things in hell.
I have this coworker who's he I think he just turned like 60 or something, and he comes up.
Spry young man.
He loves talking to me about horror movies, and he comes up to me today, and he's like, "Derek, I watched The Exorcist over the weekend. And let me tell you, man, that movie really messed with me as a kid. That is the scariest movie ever made. Do not watch that movie. It will curse you." I'm like, okay, bud.
Follow you for the rest of your life.
He's just a sweet man.
Anyway, it's good that he wants to share that with you, though.
Yeah. He shared it
because you watch horror semi-professionally.
Semi-professionally.
That's
and I did tell him that. I was like, yeah, I went and saw the new one, and he's like, oh, I won't be seeing that. I don't want to even imagine my kids in those situations.
Semi-professional Cliff Notes of horror.
Holy crap.
Bad horror.
Holy crap. Can we start marketing us that way?
Let's do that.
Is Cliff Notes trademark?
Go tell your friend.
Probably. Let's do what's something adjacent to a cliff? Archipelago Notes.
Wow, okay. I was going to say like Bluff, maybe?
Bluff House?
Bluff House?
Yeah, instead of Blumhouse.
Were the Bluff Notes?
Blumhouse? Is it Blumhouse or Blumhouse?
I say Blum.
Did I hit record on this episode?
Blum.
I did.
Blum. You're just asking us now? We're like 16 minutes deep, and you're like, I wonder if we're recording.
That is like no joke. One of my worst fears that I look over at Logic.
We just sit here and like talked into the void. It has happened to us one time where we recorded an episode and we thought we had lost it by the end of it. We're like, what do we do?
We listened back and only one of our voices was making any sound.
Yeah, so we were terrified just because it's like, so do we do it all again? Can I do the same bits?
No, we actually thought about quitting. Yeah. We were like, nope, that's it.
That was the end for us, honestly.
All right. So anyway, back to this. Back in June 2021, they reached this deal. They're going to launch a new trilogy of Exorcist films. They paid $400 million to Universal Pictures for these production rights. Mm-hmm. So that means no matter what, there will be 3 of these movies.
Even if it flops, there have to be 2 more movies.
Yes. It's so interesting to me that is even a thing. But
part of the deal.
Here's the thing: Exorcist Believer came out. They paid $30 million of that $400 million. Well, I mean, they paid more money over the top of the 400.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in theory, this movie cost $430 million to make, but this movie alone cost $30 million to make. Does that make sense? It released on October 6th, and it grossed $108 million worldwide. But it has a ton of negative reviews. I mean, let's go over those reviews real quick. So Rotten Tomatoes is sitting at a 22% from critics. And that's with, how many reviews was that? I wrote it down. It is 233 reviews.
Okay,
so it's like... It's pretty
thoroughly reviewed at this point.
It's thoroughly reviewed.
Well, right, because like we started doing the not so horrible episodes, which are fun.
Yeah.
So it's just like for like up and coming movies that are coming out that we want to watch and review. Like we're planning on doing one possibly for Five Nights at Freddy's, which will be super cool. But like that one hasn't been reviewed yet. But if it were to go so low, we could potentially watch it for this. But yeah, we were coming into this thinking, oh, maybe Exorcist Believer for a not so horrible, and then it turned out to be horrible.
Yes.
So
and I'm honestly kind of surprised. I don't know why I expected this movie to be decent, but it wasn't.
Anyway, I had my doubts from the first trailer. I was like, that looks like a lot of money going down the drain.
Well, they made
$30 million.
They at least made their money back for this movie because it did gross that $108 million, and it's still in theaters and releases on video on demand today. Technically, if you're listening on October 24th.
Yes. And if not, and you're listening in the future, then it's already happened. And if you're listening in the past, what are you doing here?
What?
How is this happening?
How are you listening to this on October 22nd? Today's October 22nd.
What's happening? Is there some catastrophic event happening?
Oh my goodness.
What's going on? Friday the 13th, everyone dies? What? No, nothing happened that day. It was a safe day. Hope you had a fun Friday the 13th.
How's your Sprite?
How's my Sprite?
Yeah, the one you're drinking.
It's Spritty. It's very spritzy.
Not sponsored.
It's spicy. It's my spicy water.
There it is every time. So fun fact. Don't kill me, Count Trivia.
Oh, this is so fun. So much
This movie
fun.
was originally supposed to come out on Friday the 13th.
Oh, this is very fun, actually.
But Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert film came out the same day, so they moved it back.
Swifties
They moved it up a
scared
week.
them away. Swifties are stronger than horror fans. You heard it here. You cannot keep the Swifties away. They will fight tooth and nail.
Funnily enough, funnily enough, I feel like there's actually a lot of crossover between
you're
horror
saying
fans and Swift fans.
Swiftie fans are horrors?
I'm a little bit of a Swiftie, a little bit, and like I'm a horror fan.
You're a little bit of a Swiftie. What's your favorite T Swift song right now?
My favorite T Swift song?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to tell you.
No, come on. I want to know.
Okay.
Tell your favorite Swiftie song.
I'm going to tell everybody in the podcast Patreon that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, Derek. Just tell them here. It'll be so fun.
Why?
Because you're keeping it a secret. Now I want to know.
I don't want to tell you.
If you have one off the top of your head right now.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't. It's embarrassing. It's actually not. I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably anything from Folklore.
I was gonna say Folklore is pretty good. Let's sit here and discuss.
Because okay, so I was a Taylor Swift fan like years and years and years ago,
Swiftie.
and then I stopped listening for a while, and then Folklore came out, and I got really into her, which I feel like happened to a lot of people because that album was really, really good. I would probably say Exile is my favorite. I am looking at the song list. I'm gonna get in trouble for this conversation, and I don't know why.
By whom?
Because Swifties they're gonna get me.
Who's gonna yell at you, Derek? We're safe in here. What else is there? There's some great songs to be known.
I don't know. I loved like Love Story when I was a kid. Teenager.
I remember like You Belong With Me. That's where I was at. That was a fun time.
Song.
Yeah, that was a good time.
But yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so go check out
We're now a podcast about Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, sorry, we're going to scratch that. That was Swiftable. We're going to talk about all of our favorite Taylor Swift songs. How about The Cruelest Summer? That's crazy. 1989 Taylor's version?
Hey,
that's great.
That album's fantastic, and it's a remake. Well, not a remake. It's a re-release.
Yeah, so this one's going to be a 1989 Derek and Isaac's version. Horrible version. That's not bad.
Is it? Is it not?
Maybe it's bad. Is it bad?
It's a little bad.
Oh, no. I did a bad, guys.
All right, let's go back to The Exorcist.
The original Exorcist.
What we're here to talk about.
The original one was released in 1973. So this episode could be 1973 horrible version.
Horrible version.
So The Exorcist, Believer it or not.
Believered or not. Letterboxd reviews for this one we're sitting at a 2.1. IMDb's at a 5.1. So, I mean, it's pretty universal that this movie is less than mid.
Yes.
I would say.
Yes, exactly. Never above average and hardly reaching the average, I would say.
Yeah, hardly ever. It did gross that 108 million in like the first weekend, basically. Oh, not the first weekend, the first few weekends.
Okay, that makes more sense.
My bad.
But yeah, probably the thing is like that's everything we see nowadays is a remake or a reboot of the same thing. So I feel like a lot of that money just comes from the people who love the original, like your 60-year-old coworker who's like, that's the scariest goddamn thing I've ever seen. Coming in for that, got that nostalgia factor to it, and then it's by the time they realize it's a horrible movie, it's too late to get out of there.
Too late.
The money's been spent, dog.
So Scott Teems worked together with David Gordon Green on the Halloween reboots. He also worked on Firestarter and the new Insidious.
Oh, okay.
Peter Sattler, he is
Peter
just known
Sattler
for
of Sattler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
Oh God!
Oh, they got a ghost! Oh!
What is that girl doing? I wish I was the one possessed. Oh! Wait.
I couldn't move my body like that for years. Oh!
Somebody get the priests in here. That way the movie will end. Oh!
Oh, this movie's terrifying. Oh, are you really scared? No, I'm scared. It's still going.
Oh! We should do Statler and Waldorf every day of our lives.
Crazy. Yeah. Can they be new characters?
I mean, they already exist, and they're beautiful, and I love them.
Yeah, we need like the Waluigi and Wario to Statler and Waldorf. It's Watler and Staldorf.
Watler and Staldorf.
Watler and Staldorf. Do ho ho ho.
Do ho ho ho.
Or it's da ha ha ha.
Da
Because they do the
hee
do.
hee.
Da ha ha.
Da hee 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 hee.
That's. It sounds like we're trying to do like a maniacal laugh.
And instead of doing puns, they just like state facts. That child is possessed. Da hee hee
Da
hee.
hee hee.
Oh, that's terrible. That's awful. That's terrible.
Watler
Peter
and
Sattler has literally done nothing.
Well,
This is the first.
he lives on in our funny bit now.
It's actually the first screenplay he's written for a feature-length film. Not a great start.
Not a great start. No, exactly.
Not a great start.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah, do you want to jump into some reviews? I think that's all the information I had. Does anyone have any questions? Questions from the peanut gallery?
All right, no questions. Thank you. So we'll go. We'll
didn't give him time to ask.
Oh, okay, sorry. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah. Sorry. What's your question? How did you? Okay. Hi. Yeah.
How come you haven't started talking about the movie yet?
How come we haven't started talking about the movie? We're doing stuff. We're getting
leave me
Don't
alone.
Don't ask me questions again. How dare you? Okay, so let's talk about the reviews.
You just beat up one of our fans.
Who said they were a fan? There was just someone that was walking by us and they had a question to ask.
Oh, you're right.
They were silly. I would never be a fan. So let's talk. Let's start with Christy Lemire from Breakfast All Day with a rotten review.
Breakfast.
Says nothing is going to ever be the cultural phenomenon that The Exorcist was, and this definitely isn't.
Oof. Got him. I've got a positive review here from Terry Nemiroff of Collider Video.
You always. Oh yeah. Wait. Who was that?
Terry Nemiroff?
Terry with a T?
Oh, okay, Perry.
Okay, I got really excited because I was looking at the same one. I'm like, there's a Terry Nemiroff and a Perry Nemiroff.
That's really weird.
They're sisters.
I swear to God,
the brain
that
said.
P was a T 10 seconds ago.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're having the Mandela effect. We just shifted into another universe.
Here we are. Welcome
Have
to
I
this
heard of the
universe
Mandela?
now.
Have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Let me check. Nope, it's still the Berenstain Bears for some reason.
All right, you got me there. A rock-solid first half, character-driven, strong build of dread, and is successful at conveying the sheer terror of watching a loved one, especially a child, slip away and feeling helpless to the fight to get them back. But then it becomes a forced sequel, 3 out of 5.
You're telling me that Perry Nemiroff, that's her voice, sound like this southern like prospector? And now I'm gonna go back to the mines and get me some randomonium. I'm in Scooby-Doo again. So I got one from Juanma Fernandez Peri from El Nuevo Dia, A New Day, Puerto Rico. It says, 50 years after Friedkin's masterpiece, the most basic and accessible triumph of this sequel is David Gordon Green is that it isn't a total disaster. Full review in Spanish, and it's not here. So that's a positive review. And that's telling you how positive they get based on his and mine.
Yeah.
This is the most they can say about it.
Bob Grimm of Reno News and Reviews says, I award this piece of garbage a 0 out of 5 possible stars. There was a day when the prospect of a David Gordon Green film would have me excited. Now I get scared for all the wrong reasons with his name on film.
You know, Bob
0 out of 5.
Bob Grimm. That sounds now that's a Bob Grimm voice.
It's me, Bob Grimm.
That's a Bob Grimm voice. Okay, now give me a voice for Jackie K. Cooper.
Hello, it's me, Jackie K. Cooper.
I feel like I'm getting a lot of the same from you today. Is there
What
a
are
little,
you talking
Is there
about?
a little prospector living inside of you that just gotta come out?
Well, I just need to tell you a little story about a little boy.
Okay, yeah.
So I was sitting on my couch the other day. My little boy was sitting on my
You're
knee.
sitting there with young little Billy Bob. Saying, I'm Billy Bob. I play with the toy real good.
Hello, little Billy Bob.
And little me, Billy Bob.
Freaking Billy Bob. And I patted little Billy Bob on the head and I said, you go out into the woods and you collect yourself some rocks. And when you get back, you build yourself an urn. And when you build yourself an urn, then you can die. When you die, you can put yourself into the ashes. And when you turn yourself into ashes, you put yourself right there in that urn.
He left already.
Oh, shit.
No, keep going.
Okay. Well, when you put yourself in that, oh, wait, but he's gone.
No,
When is he going to get back? Son?
You miss
Billy Bob? Billy Bob?
Now, Billy Bob, I'm going to get them rocks real good.
Billy Bob? Well, hello there.
Now, how does Jackie K. Cooper live with the crippling loneliness now that Billy Bob is gone?
I'm so sad. And I feel lonely ever since Isabella left. They always chap their lips like that.
I'm not that guy, Pappy. I'm right over here. Don't worry.
All right. I'm going to turn on King of the Hill so I hear Boomhauer, and then I feel like you're here with me.
This is terrible.
This is not content.
Thank you all for
Do you remember how we started this
choosing to
stupid episode
listen?
with a rap?
I remember you started this episode with a rap. Thank you all who choose to listen this far. I don't know why you're here, but I'm happy you are.
Do you know why I know why they're here?
Why are they here?
Because they recently had a family event in which one of their childs, if you or your neighbor has had a family event recently where your child was possessed, call this number.
808-555-GHOST.
Thanks.
That's
what we call a full stop.
That's a full stop.
That's what we call a no actually.
Yeah,
I shut down both of our bits at the same time.
I know, I need the opposite of applause. And they're like a boo.
Boo.
Let's boogie down to our expectations.
Expectations for me.
General expectation for me was basically what I said after I saw the trailer the first time. I said that this looks like a lot of money going down the drain, a movie that should not be happening, but it is. What about your general expectation?
My general expectation is that it's just going to be a movie that I watch that I enjoy bits.
Yep, there's a reason that we are seeing this in a theater alone. Thank you very much.
Well, it was 10 o'clock on a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday morning.
Mind you, 10 in the morning, 10 of a.m.
It was a Sunday.
10 a.m.
Not the other days I said.
No, exactly. So first expectation says, I will feel like this movie was not necessary to be made. Just another film trying to capitalize on the success of the original, right? Mm-hmm. And you?
Right.
Right, right. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Right. Yeah, right.
I'm so sorry. So my first one will be so many forced scares and jump scares. Everything will be just too much.
Too much. It's too much. Ba-da-bam-bam.
I'm Mr. King Dice. I'm the greatest.
Now that's just Cuphead. Hold on, wait. I thought you were about to start going off as The Exorcist, the ghost.
Oh wait, shit. Hold on. Can we do that bit again?
Yeah.
Wait, how does the theme of that song go though? It's like
I am Pazuzu, yes. I'll steal your kid.
I'm Mr. Soul Stealer. I'm Mr. Thing You Did.
Hey.
They call me Exorcist Guy. Whatever I touch
goes to hell in my clutch. I'm too much. Ba-da-ba-bum.
Oh my god.
So
that was pretty good.
My next expectation is Leslie Odom Jr., who is the main character in this one, will not impress, and it'll be hard not to see him as a musical theater guy. Because for those of you who are not musical nerds like Derek and myself, Derek, co-host of the podcast, he played Aaron Burr in the popular musical Hamilton.
I'm willing to wait for it.
Yeah,
I'm willing to wait for it.
He sings a song called "Wait for It," and
Wait for it.
could not stop
Wait
making
for it.
jokes
Wait
about
for
it
it.
the whole time.
I am the one thing in life I can control.
It sounds like demons are the one thing in life he can't control.
Hey.
What was your next expectation?
Or maybe the care and respect for his daughter. Boom, 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 boom.
We've lost them all, Derek. They're all gone now.
That sounded like the Sesame Street theme a little bit.
Hey,
a nostalgia.
Have your children who are possessed by ghosts?
Well, then call in the Muppets and Okay, a nostalgia bait for people who were scared of the original.
Yup, like your 60-year-old coworker, who I'm going to keep mentioning because that's really funny to me. 2 for the price of 1 will not make it any better, because all I know from the trailer is that this time it's not 1 possession, but 2.
Oh my god!
2 girls possessed this time.
They possess 2 girls.
Will they make it any better?
God.
I don't think so.
Probably not. 3 terrible effects.
Terrible effects.
Easy.
Big woof. Maybe some good music. I was mostly just trying to find a positive thing to say about this because all of my notes are coming out pretty negative. I thought there'd be maybe some little riffs playing on the original theme, like spread throughout the score for it. I thought that'd be kind of fun.
Tubular bells.
All
the tubular bells.
All the tubular bells.
Corny as hell dialogue.
Yeah. That's fair.
Really easy.
And Derek, we got what? My last. Are you thinking what I'm thinking for this last expectation?
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wait, let's count down though.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Kid actors. Kid actors. Kid actors. Kid actors.
I won't.
Oh, come on!
Listen, we did that one time and it was glorious.
I feel like your spirit left your body. And
we could add another
verse.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Kid actors.
Kid actors. You got a teenager. They're also a kid. They're in a movie for some reason, I think. You put them in a chair. You give them a script. You say, hey, mouth along to this demon, kid. They try mouthing along, but they don't know words. And then they start vomiting all over your souls.
All over your souls.
I don't know. I'm bad at improv. Okay, let's go.
Great at improv. So let's go. Should we start? Is it time to start the ritual? Is it time to begin discussing the movie Exorcist Believer? It's time.
I believe it is time.
Did you believe it's time? Sorry, what was that?
I don't have
didn't hear.
anything. I think we're out of bits and we should start the movie.
Our bits are running dry. This movie did something to us.
Like my Sprite, which is halfway gone.
Hey, Derek.
This movie must begin.
Hey, Derek. Woof. Was that a jump? Did all of you get scared? Did you get scared out there? Yeah, because this movie starts off with an immediate dog jump scare.
I was so pissed.
It's just a shot of a dog playing, but they amplify the sound. And that's something that happens throughout the entirety of it. They just take things that probably aren't that scary and just make it louder and really amplify that one sound bit.
Yes.
And it's a quick cut to it, and it's just like a little bit of like it makes your heart skip a beat for a second.
And that's something we can talk about right now. Through the entire movie, I swear to sweet Jiminy Johnson Christmas.
Jiminy Johnson Christmas.
JJ Christmas.
JJ Chris. JJ Chris.
It's so stupid. I swear to JJ Chris Almighty, kiss on the mouth. Every single scene transition in this movie was a jump scare. Every single one.
Did you get a count by the end of this, like for jump scares?
No, because
there's too many to count.
I think I started counting.
There isn't a number.
My tallies ended at 20, and so I just erased it.
It was ridiculous. Like, it got to the point where they happened so many times so quickly, we couldn't keep track of them, honestly.
Anyway, we can continue on with the movie now.
Immediate dog jump scare. We're in Haiti, which I was not expecting this movie to start that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leslie Odom Jr.'s wife is pregnant, and she gets like a blessing of protection from some lady at a market. That's a weird thing. She's walking through the market, and this one kid's like, hey, I got something special to show you. He takes her to this lady who gives her this beautiful like blessing for her child that's about to be born. Don't fucking... Derek, I swear to God. I swear to God, Derek.
Isaac, leave the room real quick.
Okay, I'm going away.
All right, you guys hear Isaac play that? Okay, so we're here. There's a weird part of this ritual where someone gets their feet spit on.
Hey, Derek, are you still talking about that bit? Can I come back in now?
They get their feet spit on. So, fun fact about Isaac, he's got podophobia. Podophobia. That is the fear of feet.
I hate him.
It's so weird. Like, feet are just an appendage.
They're gross. I hate them.
But you have a full ass fear.
I hate
of
them
feet.
so much.
Who
and I will tell
hurt
you, there is something strange about this movie. There are quite a few shots of people's feet. Like, just enough to make it weird, where it's like something...
Filmed by Quentin
Tarantino? Quarantine Tonto. Quarantine Tonto directed this movie.
It's like that movie Indie in a Cupboard, but if it was made during the quarantine.
God. So anyway, she gets a blessing. And I wrote, there's too many jump scare transitions for no reason. It just keeps happening in this sequence that shouldn't even be scary. They're just in Haiti. Like, I don't get it. But then there's a pretty messed up thing that happens. There's a horrible earthquake, which really happened in Haiti.
This was a real thing. And I don't know. I feel like movies can tend to cross lines sometimes. This one really, really bothered me. I was really upset.
It did not need to happen at all. But yeah, it's very sad. It's chaos. People are dying. Buildings are crumbling down. And his wife doesn't survive the catastrophe. He finds her like crushed kind of under a building.
Yeah.
And they tell the doctors, he gets her to a hospital, and the doctors tell him like, hey, we're not able to save your wife and your child.
We have to pick one.
So we have to do one or the other, right? And then it cuts away. So now it's like in Georgia 13 years later. But it was sad and kind of like a rough way to start this movie.
It left a really rotten taste in my mouth from the get-go. Because at first I was like, oh, great, Haiti. And then it was the earthquake.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, I don't know if we need to do this because that really happened.
You really don't.
And I'm like, how is this going to tie in to The Exorcist? Like, are we sure we're watching the right movie?
I don't know. I feel like showing it was part of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Maybe if it had been mentioned,
yes,
it wouldn't have been an issue, right? I mean, I feel like this happens in movies all the time with like 9/11 is a close example of that, where like people will use that as a fear monger or something like that, where it's something that really happened and they're like dealing with the aftermaths of it. I feel like very rarely it's shown.
Yes.
And I think
And
my
this time- and this
biggest
one they
issue,
did, yeah.
it was shown. And there was this like ritual thing at the beginning. So like the whole time I was waiting for that to come back. I was like, okay, that's the reason they showed it. Like, give that at least to me, movie, so you have one reason. And I will spoil it right now. That does not come back.
I mean,
Kind of.
I mean,
So little.
who
though.
lives, you know? Who lives, who dies, who tells your story, if you know what I
Lives,
mean.
who dies, who tells your
This episode is specifically
story.
for horror fans and musical fans,
We're
I guess.
gonna get sued by Disney for bringing up Hamilton.
Oh, you're right.
We
should
We
run.
should probably. You know what we should do? We should sit down and we should wait for it.
I'm not
because
gonna wait
one
for.
day that
I'm not gonna
cease
wait
to
for Disney
desist.
cease and desist. Absolutely not. So now we're in Georgia, 13 years later, and it seems like he chose the daughter, right? So now he has a daughter. Her name is Angela.
Yep.
They live in a. I wrote a note about this because it struck me as odd. They live in a pretty big house, considering he's a single father of one.
And they haven't
It's-
like established. I mean, he seems like he's just a photographer at a Walmart.
at like a 12-hour photo or something
Yeah.
like that, right? It's like, okay, he can't be
Where did
making
he get
that
this
much
much
money,
money?
right? I don't know.
and
It
he
was
just
strange.
relocated from Haiti too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Where
Seems like it would cost a lot of money. The house is way too big for the two of them. It doesn't really matter. Angela wants to go hang out with her friend, and I was like, "This is where it's going to go bad. This is what happens." She wants to go hang out with a friend, and that's when bad things happen. You know, like two teenagers get together and bad things happen.
222 teenagers got together.
222 teenagers.
What
if they got together? Could 222 teenagers hang out so hard it could kill God?
This is the story of a girl.
This is a story of 222 girls. Breaking news.
I just imagine like 222 kids sitting
Yeah.
in a big like circle conjuring Satan. I don't know why. That's just what came to my
That
head.
could work. That could be great.
That's
It'd be a
probably
pretty
all you
big
need.
Circle.
Do you think they'll get sacrificed though?
Probably. At least one. It would have to be.
More like sacrifice. Ha, take it. Jerk.
What?
I don't know.
What
Keep
are you
going.
saying?
Shut up.
So we've been watching this movie for 10 minutes and we still haven't seen the title screen. And like, because usually I take a picture
I didn't
of
know
it
what
before
movie I was
everything.
in.
I'm like, I don't know. Could be the wrong movie.
I thought it
don't
was in
know.
the Taylor Swift Eras tour. I
was waiting for T Swift to show up and save the day, but she didn't.
She did it.
Instead, we get Angela, and Victor is the name of Leslie Odom Jr.'s character. And then so the girls do get to hang out. So her dad's like, okay, fine, just be sure you're home for dinner. She's like, okay, bye, Dad, love you. Her and her friend go to hang out. Instead of going over to her friend's house, they just start walking straight into the goddamn woods.
And you know, the whole
Who
time
thinks that's a good idea?
the whole time they were doing this in my head, I was going, if you go down in the woods today, you're
Gonna get possessed.
If you go down in the woods today, you might not get any rest.
Okay.
For every girl who conjures a ghost will die in there because of a ghost.
Oh,
Ooh, I kind of like the dead silence
that was
after I said
spooky.
that. It was like the opposite of a jump scare.
No, you mean it like a ghost.
We're so stupid.
It almost sounded like we said meow.
We're in weird moods today.
We're in such weird moods. Again, I don't know how many times I wrote a note about this, but just too many unnecessary jump scares.
so many.
Every transition is just a quick cut where they amplify the sound of it to scare you for no goddamn reason. None of them are any lasting scares. It's so weak.
Since we were in a movie theater, we weren't like able to take as detailed of notes as usual.
Yeah.
I mean, Isaac brought his little tablet and was typing it away. I was just on my phone. But most of my notes are just about the jump scares. Like I named this movie "Jump Scare Transitions," the movie,
really
because
bother
it's just
me. It
all
is
it was.
jump scare transitions the movie 100%. So Angela and her friend Catherine are out in the woods, and Catherine pulls out some candles, and they're going to do some like witchy stuff out in the woods to
Yeah.
talk to Angela's dead mom. Because that's
dope.
been established, right? You know, her mom is clearly dead. She's the one who survived, so she's been missing her mom. She wants to talk to her, right? So like that's a decent enough reason for her to be doing this
And
kind
I
of stuff.
wish that they had gone the Sophia and Caruso from Beetlejuice route and just sang a cool song about it.
That would be so much better. See,
Mom.
demonic karaoke.
Oh
I've been
my
saying
God.
it for years.
I've also been saying it for about a week now. Demonic karaoke.
It's the way to go, right?
Demonic karaoke is the way to go.
I feel like we have
If
nothing
you're on
else
the
to say
road,
other
it's
than that.
demonic
It's just a
karaoke.
good idea. And like, what else is there to say?
I mean, I think it's funny. Like, you could do. We should pitch this to What We Do in the
Are
Shadows.
they singing
could do
like
it.
parody songs? Or are they just singing their own? Like they're like, oh, I'm gonna sing Madonna's "Material Girl." You know,
It's like a
Material
big horn.
Ghoul.
Horn. Oh!
Material ghoul.
Living in the material world. Material. Material ghoul.
Material ghoul.
Material ghoul. I don't know why that's my voice for a ghoul, but it made sense.
Great. I love that song.
Do ghouls go swimming in a swimming pool?
Or in a swimming ghoul. But then a swimming ghoul swimming in a swimming ghoul.
But what if he's a tool? So it's a swimming. It's a ghoul swimming in a swimming ghoul who is a very big tool.
The pool is actually a swimming ghoul, so the swimming ghoul swims in the swimming ghoul, not the pool, and he's a tool. And
What
he
a
looks like a
fool.
fool, right? Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Cool. So, anyway, we don't see much of this little ritual they're doing to talk to Angela's dead mom, but then it shows Victor, her dad, at his house, and he's starting to worry a little bit, right?
He's getting a little scared.
Because she still hasn't turned up from her friend's house, and it's getting pretty late. She said she'd be home for dinner. And so he calls the girl's parents, because he has like the school directory. So he calls them, and they're like, no, my daughter's going to hang out at this friend's house. He's like, oh shit, they lied to the parents about where they were going. So now they are officially missing. The parents go on the hunt for their kids. So it's like the three, it's Leslie Odom Jr. and then Catherine's two parents, the mom and dad, who were just like on the hunt in the woods trying to find some stuff.
Wait, did we already talk about the other guy?
Oh, we did not.
Norbert Butts.
Norbert
Leo Butts.
Norbert Leo Butts. I
Mr.
noticed this for a
Man.
little bit. I'm like, there's no way. You're telling me this movie has not one but two possessions and not one but two Broadway dads?
actors? Oh,
actors?
damn it,
Yeah, I mean,
fuck.
they're actors. They're playing dads in
We
this
were
movie.
so close.
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to say the F word on this podcast anymore.
Shit.
Balls.
Frickin' heck, man.
Flippin'.
But we're going to get the explicit tag on this movie.
We will explicitly get the explicitly.
I will
explicitly.
explicit.
So
this
Norbert
episode.
Leo Butts is my boy.
is also a Broadway boy,
He's
just
saying-
much like a Leslie Odom Jr.
He was like on the original Broadway cast for Wicked. He played Fiera.
Yeah, he was also. Wow,
You know,
this is
that
a
was
musical
so-
heavy episode. I'm so sorry
so
to those
bad.
of you who hate
I'm in
musicals.
a very singy mood today. Are you specifically talking to your sister?
Probably, yeah.
Because
Sorry,
she doesn't
sorry,
hate
sis.
musicals, but she hates musical music.
She hates like show tunes. She just
Yeah.
hates the singing.
Wait,
Anytime
wait.
someone sings around her, she's saying, "I didn't ask for show tunes." That's my sister.
Oh, how many more could we fit into this episode?
Oh, no.
Make 'em laugh.
Oh my
make 'em
god!
laugh.
Yeah, so he was also like Jamie in the last 5 years, so he did some stuff.
Jamie is over.
And so yeah, they are
Jamie
both
is
in this movie,
cool.
both as the fathers of the kids who get possessed, which is weird. Did you say Jamie's a ghoul?
Yeah.
Jamie's possessed. Jamie's a ghoul. Jamie threw up, and that's not very cool.
Jamie all told me it'd be in the pool, but he's still dying.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's not bad. So
was terrible.
while they're out there, they find some of their belongings kind of scattered throughout the woods, and then there's a snake jump scare.
Ah!
That was one that was like loud. I was like, that was unnecessary.
There were so many times where we like looked up and we're like, they enhanced that. Wasn't there like a time a guy coughed or something and they enhanced it?
the cough to make
Yeah.
it scarier.
This move, I swear to sweet Beelzebub.
Jump scares the
Beelzebub.
movie, believer.
They
Believe it
went
or
through
not.
the final cut of this movie and just enhanced every moment that could possibly jump scare.
Yeah,
a person.
it's like they watched what was what's his name? Midnight Mass guy.
Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. There we go.
They watched the first episode of Midnight Mass.
Exactly.
That has
The Midnight
third-
Club, right?
Oh, shoot.
yeah. They watched
Sorry,
the first
yeah,
episode of
Midnight
Midnight Club, and they're like, "No, this is good. This is what works." Even though he like intentionally threw a ton of jump scares
Yeah.
into there to
Well,
prove a point.
And okay, segue. I'm a huge Mike Flanagan stan, by the way. That's like I've watched every single
Mike
thing
Flanagan
he's ever done.
fan. Mike Stan again. Am I right?
Freaking Fall of the House of Usher just came out too.
Ooh, yeah.
Super stoked. Anyway, so in Midnight Club, in the first episode, the producers wanted him to like pack as many jump scares in there as possible. So he was like, "Okay, I will. I'm going to put them all into this one episode."
Mind you, he's not one that believes in the power of jump scares. He
Yeah.
has much more to him as a director and
Yes,
writer to be like,
yes.
there's better ways you can scare people.
He uses them very sparingly and very well. It's part of why I love him so much.
Exactly.
But
this time he's like, okay, guys, sure.
But here's the thing I
Oops,
love
all
about
jump scares.
Oh my god! Instead of oops on marshmallows.
Oh my god, that's this movie. It's just oops, all jump scares.
Episode title.
That's
High five. Okay, that's a fun thing that me and Isaac do behind the scenes is we listen while we're watching an episode, while we're watching talking.
Listening?
While
Well, we're watching talking. I mean, that's what podcast is, baby. It's just walking, talking. Shrimps is bugs.
Shrimps is Bob. folks. While we're talking, goodness, I can't. While we're making the episode, we'll like keep note of things that would make good episode.
Like, that'd be a good title. That is one of my favorite games as we go
so
along.
fun.
You never know what it's gonna be.
You never know. It's like a back to chocolate. Anyway, so in the first episode of Midnight Club,
yes,
there is a specific conversation that they have about jump scares and how they're raising your adrenaline, and I love it. If you can go watch the first episode of that show or watch that scene on YouTube, I really, really recommend it because it does talk about how it fuels your adrenaline. It like gets your heart racing. So, like,
didn't he win some kind of like award?
It is
like,
the Guinness World Record
for most jump scares
in like a certain amount of time.
Yes.
That scene in question got me every single time, and it was super effective. Okay. So,
and it worked.
Let me segue over to Exorcist Believer real quick.
Oh, we're back in this movie.
Yes,
right, we're still watching this
There
movie.
is a reason I was talking about it because
segue.
This movie had so many jump scares that were not effective and were so out of place that by the time the ending of the movie comes around and they have these jump scares that could be really, really, really cool, like, for example, the cross one that happens towards the end, like, that would have been very effective had I not already had my heart rate upped and lowered the entire movie at such a pace that just did not work for me. My intense level was so high, there was no way for me to go back down or come back up.
And I think that's just something to say about like the skilled hand of a director that can handle horror well. Because I feel like any Yahoo can come in and be like, well, I can make a horror movie, just throw in a bunch of jump scares. And they're like, they'll do a bad job like this movie did. They don't understand the ways to utilize them well, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where like Mike Flanagan is very different, right? Like he didn't want to put a bunch of them in there, but then the producer's like, you got to put more jump scares. So like
made it
with
work.
a skillful hand, he's like, yes, send me like a dash, just a pinch. He's got a little salt in his hand of jump scares. He just like tosses it in there.
Jump scare. Jump scare. Wait, hold on. I just tasted this. There's a little more jump scare.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But then the
he's
directors,
a master of this craft.
The producers of this movie, they don't have a good palate.
No,
they
exactly.
They don't understand the jump scare. So when they tasted the
just
food,
don't get it.
They tasted the already salty gravy, and they were like, no, we need more salt. Put more salt in here. So what did they do?
Put more salt in the gravy. I want you to kill me. Raise my cholesterol through the roof.
And instead of tasting it and incrementally adding salt, they just dumped the whole box of salt in.
They just upturned the whole thing, screw off the cap, and pour it all in.
And then by the time they noticed that it was too salty, they dumped a potato in there. But they didn't understand that putting a potato in gravy doesn't actually do that much. It absorbs a little bit of the salt, but it doesn't do enough. But then they're like, oh crap, we need to add more salt in. But then they kept adding salt, and then it was too salty. And then by the end of the day, they're walking through muck of salt. They're walking through so much salt. And then by the time it gets delivered to people on their table, they're like, oh, look, I got a big bowl of Exorcist Believer. They're like, oh, but I eat all my food with salt. So they dump more salt on. They're putting more salt on. And then everyone has jump scares. And you can't get away. You can't get away.
What just happened? Derek, were you possessed? What?
He's with the maggots now.
What just possessed you?
I really hate it when people add too much salt to soup.
I can tell. Passionate man here. Don't add too much salt and not a lot of jump scares to your movies. Thank you.
I mean, that's a pretty decent, comparison.
Yeah, I think so too. This has been a message from the horror boys. Don't make it a noob salt jump scares.
The more you salt,
the more you salt,
the less you eat.
Yep. So,
all right, where were we?
So now the children are missing. The parents are having some tension between them, like throwing the blame game, about like, oh, your daughter said this. Like with all respect, I didn't even know our daughters were friends, There's like a slight edge of like maybe racism coming from the parents, which I dislike.
Which was part of the reason I was in such denial that it was Mr. Butts.
Yes.
Because I was like, there's no way he could be
not
racist.
my Norbert Leo Butts, but I mean, he's playing his part, I suppose.
He's just playing a character.
But so Victor is like, mourning the fact that his daughter is currently missing. It's been a couple days now. And then his neighbor from across the street just brings people into his house.
Who, Peter Griffin?
Yeah, Peter Griffin. He looks like live action Peter Griffin.
100%.
No offense to the man. I'm sure you're a wonderful person. It's just he kind of looked like a Peter Griffin type. But
what is his name?
Lets himself into there. Yeah, it's Stu.
Oh,
Stu.
right, because his name's Stu.
Yes, exactly. We were riffing on that. So he brings people into his house to perform a blessing on Angela's room. He's like, no, this is my friend. She's wonderful. She's a doctor of blah, blah. She knows what she's doing. And Victor's like, get the hell out of my house, dude.
How did you get in here?
Honestly, though, I don't understand. It
was
so stupid.
It's so weird. Okay, I feel like a lot of blessings and stuff, understanding that it happened is part of what makes it work.
Yeah.
Because like even in a movie like this where it is obviously there is an angel, there's a devil, there's a god, there's a Satan, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I feel like you have to have a little bit of knowledge that it is happening in order for it to work.
Yes.
So this guy's Mr. Peter Griffin's plan was to bring these people in, do these little like rituals
Just do
over the room,
secret blessing on the girl's
and then
room.
leave.
Yeah.
So the guy gets home and he's like, Sage?
Smells like blessing in here.
Who made is that brown butter?
Kind of smells like Updog in here.
Did someone make sea bass with sage and brown butter? What's happening?
So, you're like a chef kick today.
I don't know.
So the only reason I mentioned that scene even happened, it felt kind of throwaway, except the people that were blessing the room do come back later on in the movie. Yeah. That's the only reason I mentioned it. But now there's a dead horse at some nearby barn.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know.
This is actually one of the things that got me out of my seat, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like,
I was like, why
did
is there a horse? This isn't The Godfather.
And the farmer's trying to just like scoop it up with his tractor.
And these characters are pointless.
Yeah, and he sends his son. He's like, no, go out in the barn and get this thing that I need, I guess. And he goes out into the barn, and guess what? It's the two girls. They've been located. Yeah, what's up, Derek? What's happening?
Why did they have to kill a horse?
The horse death didn't need to happen.
What?
Unnecessary horse death.
Oh, look, I'm out doing my chores on the farm. Oh, there's two girls in my barn.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, their horse didn't need to be dead. Is it implied that they killed the horse? The horse looks fine. It wasn't like it was mangled or anything like that.
And honestly,
it looked like it was
been
sleeping.
Sick.
Yeah,
maybe just been sick. He was
maybe
just
it
laying
was
on
just-
his belly.
Well, let's pretend.
I don't like thinking about.
Let's
dead
rewrite the
animals,
canon. Now it was
thank
just a
you.
sick horse. Don't even worry about it. He's going to be very, very okay. He's going to take a big nap. He's going to feel all better in the morning.
Yeah, I feel better now. Thank you.
So the girls think they've been gone for a few hours, but they've been missing for 3 whole days.
What?
And it seems like they're maybe not telling the police and the hospital all of the information. I do really like, though, when they get them into the hospital, this is something they did pretty well. It is such an overwhelming scene.
I liked this a lot.
Because I feel like it's actually fairly effective, showing how like they really stack way too much on people who have just experienced something very traumatic.
Yes.
Because there's just like overlapping lines of people like, oh, how'd you do this? Oh, let's get you over this way. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to stick you with a syringe. Like,
And
it's chaotic a little bit. It's very overwhelming as an audience member.
We kind of compared it to like in a movie when someone gets bad news, like everything fades out or like gets fuzzy.
Yeah,
It was like that kind of an example of like how awful it is to be in a terrible situation and everyone wants to know about it.
Everyone's
like the
asking a
reporters are there, the
million
doctors are
questions,
there, the parents are there, everyone's yelling at
you
them.
do not get a
everyone's talking to them.
moment's peace to like properly feel these feelings and go through them, right?
And even if it is an over exaggeration, even if no one is actually all standing around them like that, yelling at them, it was a very good example of how it feels.
Yeah, so I'd say this was actually a
liked that a
fairly
lot.
effective scene. I really did dig it.
a standout for me in the movie.
Yeah, but so the girls don't give the authorities a lot of info, and then they're sent home. Yeah. And then Angela is telling Victor about the little ritual that she was doing in the woods to try to talk to her dead mom. And he's being very supportive of it. You know, he loves his daughter very much. He's trying to be as like understanding as he could.
He's actually a really good dad.
Yeah. But then it's kind of spooky because like while she's telling him the story, there's some spooky ghoul standing behind him.
Yeah.
That she sees.
That was icky.
And that's something that bothered me about this movie. Anything scary that's going on happens as quick as the jump scares do. Where it's just like a quick flash of like what looks like another world where the girls look way more possessed with like these bright yellow eyes.
This happens so often.
Just
It got
way too many quick
annoying.
cuts, yeah.
Like there was coming up in a little bit. There was a scene where Catherine, the other girl, is like stroking a window, and then like it flashes quick shot of her like all demonic and possessed.
Right, exactly. Like I'm
right back.
I'm one for monster delay, but they really never delivered on that. That's really the best we
And
got
it
was
didn't-
quick glances of these things.
It didn't even feel like monster delay to me. It felt like we're gonna throw a pile of monsters on top of this that aren't even in this movie.
Exactly.
And I haven't actually seen the original Exorcist, but I'm assuming that a bunch of these images were from the original Exorcist.
I mean, probably,
or at least
right?
from the first 3.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact there were a couple from the first one that I recognized. But anyway.
Yeah. So Angela's trying to sleep, and then she wets the bed because Victor comes in the morning, I think, and he's like he goes to wake her up from bed with like breakfast in bed, being a cute dad, you know, just taking care of her after this traumatic
this
experience.
This is kind of weird. This actress was fine. She did a good job.
Yeah,
but
she was decent. Kid actor, you know.
She was supposed to be 13, and she's actually like 15 or 16 in real life.
She looked significantly older
but
than
she
15.
looked way older than that.
And I feel like it wouldn't have mattered
it.
much if they just bumped it up a couple years, but like 16 years later, you know, that really wouldn't have made much of a difference.
No, it really wouldn't have. And the whole peeing the bed plot just felt weird and tacked on.
I can't remember. I'm fairly certain that the in the original movie there's a bit where like Reagan like pees on the floor, and that's something that happened. So I think in some way it was kind of a nod to that. I think
maybe that's like part of the rules. They have to pee their pants when they're
maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it would make sense. You don't really have control of your body. Like, okay.
Yeah. So like it's fine. It was a little gross, but so he goes to run her a bath, and then the bathwater turns all like gross and brown. He leaves her in there for a second, then goes back in to find her, and she's gone, and he finds like bits of her whole ass fingernails like on the edge of the tub.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah. Not like clippings of the fingernail, like the whole thing ripped off of the finger. It's pretty nasty. And then she attacks him. She like sneaks up around him and starts attacking again.
This got me.
Yeah, it actually kind of got me too.
I was surprised that a jump scare after all of the jump scares we had actually got me.
Because it was actually like a natural one, right? Like we sat there in the lull of it, like it was a safe space. He was taking care of his daughter. Then she just whole attacks him.
Yeah.
And then starts having a seizure on the ground and screaming about wanting to find her mother.
Eugh.
Yeah, it's
that
rough.
was rough.
So meanwhile, the other girl, Catherine, is in church, and she's already starting to look a bit like a demon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
She looked gnarly.
I feel like they cast this girl solely because she looks kind of like Reagan did a little bit in the original movie. She looks, especially when they like grunge her up with all this dirt and stuff, like she really looks demonic, I suppose. She sneaks off while the sermon is happening and like eats all like the wafers and the wine in the back of the church or whatever, just like completely goes crazy in there.
The body and the blood.
And then she starts walking down the aisle slowly as the priest guy is giving his little speech or whatever.
Body and the blood.
Yeah, and just starts repeating that over and over. The body and the blood.
The body and the blood.
Over and over, and then until she's just screaming it at the top of her lungs. And it's a lot. Yeah. So now Catherine's parents are talking with Victor, and they're like, so like, what if they called to something in the woods and now there's demonic possession? So they're just pretty easily jumping to the thought of demonic possession.
Yeah.
Which I suppose makes sense because they've established that like Catherine's parents are incredibly religious, and Leslie Odom Jr. is not anymore.
Yes.
He once was. That's something that kind of comes around in this movie, is the fact that he was religious, then the horrible thing in Haiti happened and he kind of lost his faith.
Yeah.
Which happens to a lot of people. It's a very real thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's kind of
either one way or the other.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that like, the parents are very on board with the thought of evil spirits in the daughters, but not Victor, because he doesn't believe in God because of what happened with his wife, right? He's a pretty abrasive and not very likable character.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his neighbors are really trying their best, and like I know it's tough to make a person feel better in a situation like this, but like they really are sincerely trying to help him and make him feel better, and he just keeps shrugging them off and telling them to leave him alone. Which I get, he wants to be alone, but he just like, I don't know, he wasn't very likable to me as a character.
No,
it was kind of hard to root for him, right?
I really feel like he didn't get any direction at all.
No.
I mean, I kind of felt that way about most of the characters in this movie. But specifically, I mean, Leslie Odom Jr. is a good actor.
Yeah.
I know he is. That's why part of watching his performance bothered me so much, because he was just not giving us anything.
Yeah.
He was just kind of a grumpy dad, and that's it.
Exactly. So one of his neighbors, who again was trying to help him, just tells him that she's actually, his neighbor happens to be the nurse that's helping Angela at the hospital too. And she mentions that Angela was calling out things that nobody would have the information to. Because apparently this lady used to be a nun, or was going to be a nun or something like that.
Forgot about this plot.
She had sex with a man, got pregnant, had an abortion, and blah, blah, blah. She was going to name the baby like Maria or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then Angela called out that baby's name. She's like, I've never told anybody that name. So clearly some messed up stuff is happening, right? There's no way she could know this. And I just wrote, this movie is just going and going, but where is it going?
Yeah.
Where is this movie going? But the music is here a little bit. There's like a little bit of the main theme. And this is where I found out that the song from The Exorcist, that catchy, iconic theme song, is called Tubular Bells.
Yes.
Derek told me this during the movie.
Well, I found out the night before from my father-in-law, Steve.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that theme was really popular when the movie came out.
That's
it was all over the radio and
crazy.
stuff, and I'd never even heard about
That's wild. But I mean, like, listen, it's kind of a bop. It's not
a
that
bop.
bad. It's a fun song.
it. It is, absolutely.
So he finds out that the neighbor who's a nurse gave him a book about this lady who knows stuff about like exorcisms, right? It happens to be Ellen Burstyn, who played the main mom in the very first movie. So now she's become like an expert on exorcisms. She's read up on like exorcisms in every different religion and stuff. She's basically the exorcism expert, she wants to say. But she's not. She is not an exorcist. She explicitly is like, I will never take that title.
I will never do this.
I am not an exorcist.
I don't really feel like she needed to be here.
No. It's another thing that's like, wow, they really just wanted to get her in this movie to say, hey, look, we've got the actress from the original. Isn't that cool? Come see the movie.
She's playing her same character.
Yeah, exactly. So Leslie Odom Jr., Victor, he goes to see her. And he starts asking about Reagan from the first movie, and she's just studying a shitload into demonic possession, and she wants to show people how you can survive something like that, like move on and live a normal life, right? Which is like a pretty noble thing considering she went through it herself, right?
For sure.
She's like, I wasn't there for like, the actual exorcism, but I was certainly there for the possession and like all of the stuff that went down with it, right? So like, I know this stuff. We find out a little bit about how like Reagan resents her mother because she made this book, right? She wrote this whole book of kind of exploiting their life, and it took off. It's a massive success. And Reagan is like, I don't want, like, this is a horrible thing that happened to me in my life. I don't want this to be publicized.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's honestly, it makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, she resents Chris McNeil is the name of the her mother character for writing a book about the experience, right? So they just bring Chris on the team to help them out as like the expert on this kind of stuff. It doesn't really take much convincing, I guess. And like Chris is also super on board really fast.
Yeah.
She sees Angela in the hospital. She's like, she knows who I am. It's like, what? How do you know that?
How do you know that?
How do you know that?
She should have stayed retired.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. But so she goes to Catherine's house, and Catherine is just casually reading the Bible in her bedroom, and they have this like standoff between the two of them. I don't know why they let Chris McNeil go in by herself while they suspect that Catherine is possessed by a demon. It doesn't really make sense. But Chris is convinced that the thing possessing Catherine is the same thing that possessed Reagan all those years ago.
Yep.
And there's some quick shots that show cooler versions of the girls with these the demonic yellow eyes. It's fun, but they don't show it for long enough.
I really, really didn't like that they were like, this is the same demon that possessed Reagan all these years ago. It didn't make any sense.
No, because they even start, like, the demon starts trying to tell her that Reagan is dead. Like, it's really trying to get into her head. And then, in a crazy fashion, Catherine stabs out Chris McNeil's eyes with a metal cross that falls off the wall.
Yeah, that was the thing I was talking about, how it would have been a lot better jump scare had it not been, like, freaked out.
Why did they let her go up there alone to get attacked by this demon?
Dumb.
Like, what? So yeah, currently the movie is feeling pretty hopeless. They just lost their experts. Like, what are they going to do? So she does survive, but now she has no eyes. Her eyes have been stabbed out. They have to cover her eyes up with these bandages and stuff. And then she gives this real big monologue about how Victor's got to bring everyone together. This real triumphant music behind this whole thing, because she's talking about how, like, Victor, I've studied exorcisms in every single religion, and the one commonality they have between them all is like the sense of community and people coming together to fight the evils. Blah blah. It's just like. It's a fine performance from her, but it feels like, I'm like, can we do something, please? We're so far through this movie and no exorcism has happened at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And you took your one cameo and put her on the bench because you stabbed her eyeballs out. She was fucking useless to us. Absolutely useless. But yeah, so it feels like we're gearing up for some sort of big thing, but it is going at a snail's pace. So they're trying to set up a real big ritual. They're getting people from all different kinds of religions. They bring back the lady who was putting the blessing on Angela's room from earlier. They're talking about how they're going to open up a portal to allow the demon to go from the girls back into the portal, something like that, right? It's a whole thing.
It was definitely a whole thing.
Yeah, so like they've got a whole team of people now. Great, let's get on with it, honestly. They try to get the help from a priest who has been kind of throughout. He's been here a couple times, and he backs out. Like, he's a weenie.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, sorry, the church said that I can't. They said maybe get her some psychiatric help, but I can't really do this. Sorry.
Bye.
And the priest is probably one of the worst actors in the movie.
100%.
I swear there was a scene where he's trying to ask the religious people, whatever, to get to do an exorcism. Yeah. And I swear he messed up one of his lines, and they kept that cut.
It seemed like it, 100%. And I bet it was because he did it bad so many times. They were finally like, you know what, whatever, just keep
go.
the best one.
We're running out of daylight. Come on. So now they come back. It's Victor and the nurse neighbor, and they're like, "Hey guys, so the priest ain't gonna do it with us." And then they all start fighting about how they're not gonna do it with the priest. And then the nurse neighbor is like, "I was gonna be a nun. Now I see the purpose of my life. Why I lived next to you all along. It's been me. I'm the one who needs to do the exorcism. I'm gonna perform the rites of this exorcism, I guess." So now we're finally starting something. And every scene just drags and drags out. So the girls' hearts are beating in sync, Not like the band, but just, synchronized. Think that way. I do actually kind of enjoy how they have like a melting pot of different religious beliefs helping out in this ritual, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Honestly, they're like, we're just going to try everything at once and hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
I like that they're like, they're using normal people logic, because I'm like, I don't know, let's throw everything we have at it. Let's throw all this spaghetti at the wall, right?
Which is, smart.
Yeah, so the demons are not liking the exorcism. It's not going very good. And it's at this point that I made a note about what Derek has kind of mentioned earlier. The demonic voices don't line up too well with the girls who move their mouths.
Oh my goodness, ever. There's never a time where I was like, that voice is coming from that child.
Because it seems very obvious that they did not just put some demonic filter over the girls' voices. They literally recorded them afterwards and try to have them sync up. And often they do not sync up incredibly well.
Never.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a lot is happening, but also nothing is happening. It's just a lot of people shouting religious babble at girls writhing in chairs and tense music.
And most of the things they're saying are things like, in the name of Jesus.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
and over and over and
And
over
everyone's
and over.
kind of trying, and there's not a lot of structure to what they're doing, right?
There's no structure
Which,
at all.
again, is fairly realistic. It doesn't seem like any of them actually know what they're doing.
No.
Yeah. Then there's like an upside down cross that cuts itself into Catherine's forehead, which was kind of a neat effect. It was kind of nice. I like that.
Cool.
But yeah, after doing not much, they take a break, and then they come back and start pouring vinegar on the girls, and one of them throws up some sludge the size of a kidney. Like,
that was insane.
It was gnarly.
It made no sense.
Yeah, it was kind of gross. But then they start releasing the spirits in the form of like gases coming out of their mouths, which was kind of a cool thing.
This effect actually worked for me.
Yeah, because the lady who's performing the blessing on the room, I forget her name, but she like puts something in her mouth, spits it in the fire, and then the smoke starts to join the gas coming out of their mouths and like forms this weird thing.
Yeah,
it was kind of neat.
Dissipates.
I didn't hate it.
That part was cool.
Yeah. And the girls are just getting more and more covered in bile and grossness and like goopy whatever all throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
And then Angela antagonizes Victor because he told the doctors to save his wife, not the daughter. Because we never really got a definite answer on that in the very beginning. She was like, you never wanted me. You wanted her. You told the doctors to save the wife, not the daughter. So it's like... Which, I mean, that's another thing that happened in the original. Like the demon possessing Regan was kind of a dick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm glad it kind of came around to that. But now there's something that I did actually kind of like. Now the demon poses an ultimatum. It says only one child can live. Like they have to choose one or the other. And you have both of the parents of these children in the room, right?
Yes.
Which makes it kind of rough. And the demon says you have to choose. You can't not choose or they're both going to die. So you have to choose one of them.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I kind of liked the idea that there was actually no way to defeat them.
Yeah.
And they had to pick. Like they had to do something.
Because that's rough, because these parents have it's weird, they like kind of bond over the fact that they're in the similar situation, this traumatic event, but then they also argue with each other over like, their shared trauma too. Like it's kind of, they go back and forth. So now it's tough because they're at this weird point where they're kind of getting along with each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, now what are you going to do? Like, how am I going to choose my daughter over yours? Like, that's a really hard question to ask. Mm-hmm. But don't worry, everybody. Do not worry. The priest is here.
Yeah, priest.
Like he's some fucking hero or something. He comes in and then, don't worry, all of the other problems are solved. Guess you don't got to worry about a demon ultimatums when the priest comes in to perform an exorcism. I guess he's just better at this than like the 6 people here combined for no reason at all. And so it's just working. He's just coming in, performing the rites. He's reading from the Bible or whatever he has to do. And I feel like all of that tension telling them about this ultimatum was for nothing. But wait.
There's more,
because they break his neck and turn it all the way backwards. Kind of like in the original when Regan's head spins all the way around. I did enjoy that. That was a fun bit.
That one was cool.
And they did that without even touching it, right? You just see first his neck like snap off of its spinal cord at first, and then it turns all the way around. It was pretty brutal. I liked it a lot. Tubular Bells is back. It's here. And so after this bit, Victor is able to talk his daughter down a little bit, and they're like, oh, their heartbeats are separate now. I think it's working, so they're no longer in sync. So the parents are reaching them. So now there was a moment where actually they were going to choose Angela for some reason. I don't know why Catherine's mom was on board with this, but she wasn't going to say anything because Victor was like, I choose you. We're going to keep you, right?
Yeah.
And nobody says anything, but then Catherine's dad is like, I choose you, Catherine. It's me. I choose you, actually. And he fucks it all up.
Yep.
Because now shit starts hitting the fan. The girls start floating out of their chairs.
Yeah.
And then we get a look into what is like hell,
Maybe hell?
or limbo. I'm not
I
really
don't
sure.
know at all.
Yeah, there's some crazy shots of some like raggedy hag with these like saggy breasts and like this like nasty wrinkled skin. Like they look kind of fucked up. It's actually kind of cool.
It was cool. It just didn't make any sense.
No, and I really wish we got to see more of these creatures. Again, this seems like a climactic moment, and we still don't get a lot of it.
No.
But you feel bad for them because it's just like the girls chilling in limbo right now, and they look really scared. And then Angela vomits like straight up onto the ceiling and like open. It looks like there's like a portal in the vomit on the ceiling.
Yeah, that was actually pretty
It was
dope.
kind of weird. But yeah, then things seem okay. Both of the girls are back, and then they both flatline.
Yep.
So we don't see Angela in limbo, but we do see Catherine in there. And yeah, so the demons in here look pretty cool. Like some decent work went into them, but we only see them in quick chances. And then somehow Angela comes back to life, but Catherine doesn't. The demons got her in limbo.
Yep.
There's like a bit where she's at like kind of in this little like pool of water, and the bunch of arms come out and like drag her down into the
That was
water.
cool.
It was kind of neat. I did enjoy that. But so yeah, it wasn't a definitive like, oh, she's dead now, but she just doesn't come back to life.
Nope.
So yeah, so Angela does survive, which is what I was saying is maybe that blessing that they got in Haiti is the reason, but it didn't really tell us that very well.
And I didn't even think about that until now.
No, me too.
Because I thought that the demon was playing a trick on him, and they were like, whichever one you don't choose is the one who's going to survive.
Right, exactly. Genie rules,
Because
you
it's
know.
like, yeah, it just felt like that. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like anything more.
No, but that is what happened. So Angela does survive, and,
Yep.
and unfortunately, Catherine does not come back. And now the cops are all here to do, I mean, not much of anything.
Nothing.
It's all happened. It's all done. So that's basically the biggest climax of the movie. Now the preachy ex-nun neighbor, whatever, is giving us our closing monologue. And then Reagan's here. Linda Blair cameo. She came
Yep.
to see her blind mom in the hospital. Guess she doesn't hate her. She's not dead. And again, what a fucking waste of the both of them. You bring in Chris McNeil acting like she's a cool, like, expert on this thing,
Yeah.
gets taken down quickly with no hesitation whatsoever. Then she's bedridden the whole time. And then a quick cameo from Linda Blair. And she's
They just,
like,
like,
oh,
hug
hi,
and
mom,
that's
it's
it.
me. Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
They are the top billed actors in this movie, too.
Which, I mean, makes sense. They probably had to pay them a pretty penny to get them in the movie.
But it's so little.
Yeah, exactly. It's such little screen
Use
time.
them.
Yeah. And then the movie ended with the goddamn title screen. It's one of those where they don't start it with it. It's at the very end we were like, oh, it's The Exorcist Believer.
I knew Taylor Swift sounded weird today.
I thought, okay, yeah, no, this music
makes
video
sense.
wasn't making a lot of sense to me. Kind of long too, right?
Long, like almost 2 freaking hours.
But yeah, then it ends with Tubular Bells one more time.
Yay, Tubular Bells.
And that's it. That's the movie. Oh, God.
That's it.
Whoa, we did it. We finished it.
This movie had an ungodly amount of jump scares.
Just a despicable
and
amount
like
of jump scares.
one death or two deaths. The
Yeah.
priest and the little girl.
Yeah, I did like the priest death. I did enjoy that one
Yeah,
a
that
bit.
one was fun.
So should we discuss our expectations and where they ended up?
Yeah, man.
So for me, my first one was not necessary to be made. And yeah, absolutely. Why did we watch that? Why did that happen? Please. What about you?
My first one, so many forced jump scares, everything was too much. Yes.
Oh, holy
yes.
shit, yeah.
The whole thing. The
absolutely
entire
all of
movie.
it. Yeah. I said Leslie Odom Jr. will not impress me. He's just a musical guy. And he was pretty one note for the whole movie. He wasn't terrible, just not great either, and just not a very likable protagonist. He just really was like abrasive,
just
and I
kinda
didn't really
there.
care for him or
Yeah.
root for him at all. Sorry.
I really didn't feel bad for him at any moment. Nostalgia bait for people who were scared of the original. Kind of. It felt very Star Wars 7 in the sense that it was like everything was a callback to the original movie.
Yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean by that? Like,
And not every one of them was like fantastic. It's like, oh,
No.
good. You did a callback. That's nice, I guess. Good for
yeah,
you.
it
Good
felt
job, sweetie.
It felt like they just like took the original script and then like added things to it and just took everything away.
Exactly.
I don't know. It was weird.
I said 2 for the price of 1 would not be any better. And truly, the only neat gimmick to 2 possessions was the whole one lives and the other dies bit. But beyond that, I felt like they was just like trying to give themselves an edge to be different from the original Exorcist. And it was like, it didn't work for me. It didn't need to happen that way.
For sure. Terrible effects. Not terrible, just nothing was impressive and
Yeah.
everything was out of place.
There weren't a lot of incredible effects to mention, right?
Yeah.
I did like the neck snapping. That was cool.
Yeah.
I do want to see more of those demons in that hell limbo
Me too.
place, though, because they looked really neat. I said good music with riffs on the original theme. The music was fine. Nothing stand out. And I was sad we only got Tubular Bells like twice in the whole thing and then
me
in the
too.
credits, right?
because it is a bop.
Yeah.
Corny as hell dialogue. Yeah, man. I like it was fine. It
was fine.
The nun speech at the end really, really annoyed me though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. She just got on her high horse.
Exactly. And then my final one was Kid, actors. And they were okay, I think. I liked Angela's performance more than Catherine. Catherine kind of annoyed me a bit more of the two of them, but they were fine. Yeah.
And I'm right there with you. I literally wrote, nah, they were fine.
Yeah. So my surprises for this, I was surprised by how long it took to actually get to the exorcism part. And to that note, it's like, this movie dragged, but it was not necessarily boring.
Yeah.
It's like every scene was full of stuff, but they were just longer than they ever needed to be. I'm like, why are we still in this scene? We can move on. And all of these scenes could be clipped like 6 lines earlier, you know?
For sure. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, so when we got Tubular Bells, it was a fun time. I did enjoy that. That was a fun surprise for me. Not one, but 2 Broadway boys as the dads. I wasn't expecting that. You know, it's not that many times, but twice is weird in one movie to have that. And then Haiti was not necessary at all. No. That was really kind of shocking for me. I was hoping it would come around and make more sense. It was just kind of offensive for the earthquake bit and just didn't need to happen that way. And then I was just surprised at how useless the cameos from the original were.
Yes.
And especially since they were in the trailer, they made them seem like they were going to be a big part of it, but they really underutilized them. And like, honestly, like I think the characters are worse because of it. And it's unfortunate.
I'm there with you.
So what were your surprises?
The Haiti bit as well. It was a lot. It was uncomfortable to watch. It made me mad. It made me just not enjoy the movie that much more.
Yeah.
The decent end to the movie surprised me, even if it was kind of predictable.
It was quick,
It was quick, but it surprised me that it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Right. The cameos as well also really surprised me. And the demon things that were in there, I was surprised that they were there at all. I just wanted more of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So verdicts? Verdict for me, we're going back to the OG here, our very first one from Slender Man, and that was a movie. Yeah, maybe an unnecessary one, maybe definitely unnecessary. It did not expand on the original lore, didn't offer anything new, no new scares. Any scares they gave us were so quick, they didn't leave any lasting effects. Yet somehow I still can't call it boreable, you know? That's the thing. It didn't quite fit the boreable standard, but I can't call it horrible or definitely not horrible.
Oh, no.
So yeah, this was a movie is what I can call this one.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. That was a movie for all the same reasons. I mean, it was a movie that I watched, and I will probably forget.
Yep.
And that is okay.
Quite forgettable. Yeah.
Quite forgettable.
Because that one, forgettable.
that was forgettable.
That was forgettable.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one.
Forgettable works. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a forgettable movie.
Yep.
And now my very good friend, Count Trivia, are you okay? It is me, possessed Count Trivia.
Oh, no.
Take your cards.
Okay, bud?
Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go throw up now.
Shoot. Wait. Science Jim is also possessed.
What's he? Science Jim, come here.
This big Science Jim.
Hello, Science Jim.
Hello.
We are possessed.
Yes.
One of us must live and the other must die.
Well, both of us are from another plane of what just happened?
I beat you with my fangs.
Oh, it's very nice.
It was nice. It's not nice, Science Jim. What are you doing? We thought we were going to do this bit, and I was going to kill you, and then I was going to
this is very good.
No, it's no. I'm
now
leaving.
I start
Take
to
your
talk like
read the
you?
review. Read it. I'm leaving. I'm
I
going away.
start to talk like you?
Okay. I'm gonna don't talk. Science Jim, you're not.
I threw him across the room.
So, on William Friedkin's passing, because he was the director of the original one, right? Writer and film critic Ed Whitfield posted this on Twitter and Facebook. Quote, William Friedkin once said to me, Ed, the guy who made those new Halloween sequels, is about to make one to my movie, The Exorcist. That's right. My signature film is about to be extended by the man who made Pineapple Express. I don't want to be around when that happens, but if there's a spirit world and I can come back, I plan to possess David Gordon Green and make his life a living hell.
Wait a minute.
Like, fuck yes. That's incredible.
He also made
Yeah, dude. The Exorcist Believer did Pineapple Express, and William Friedkin was not happy about it. And honestly, like, props to you, William Friedkin. God rest your soul, because like you were right. You were absolutely right to feel the way that you do.
Oh my God.
So yeah, again, what Derek said, Blumhouse spent $400 million to secure the filmings for this rights. On top of it, had to guarantee a trilogy. So there will be 2 more of these, even if this bombs. So yeah, you will be seeing that in the future. And based on this one, I don't know, they might end up on this podcast. We'll see.
Probably.
Stay tuned. Ellen Burstyn, who played Chris McNeil in the movies, had turned down reprising her role and then was offered double the salary. Burstyn thought,
Whoa.
I feel like the devil's asking my price. She eventually accepted using a salary to fund an MFA scholarship for actors at Pace University,
Hey.
where the Actors Studio teaches the program. Burstyn is a lifelong member of the Actors Studio and a co-president. So that's kind of cool. She's like, all right, fine, I'll do this in order to fund this thing that I'm a part of. So like,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
actually pretty noble. I'm really into that. Linda Blair, who played Reagan in the original 1973 film, was an advisor on set to the actresses portraying the possessed girls in this film, which I think is actually kind of neat. So, like, while she had her short cameo, she was there on set to kind of like help guide them through their weird possessionness, right? And I think
like
that's really cool,
Yeah.
right? And then, yeah, so I think that's actually it. I think I posted the same one twice, so I'm not going to read that one. Anyway, that's our trivia for this one. Next week, we got one more, kids.
One more sequel for sequel month.
sequel for sequel month. And this time, we are watching Pumpkinhead 2,
Yay.
Blood Wings from 1994, sitting at a 13%.
Thought this would be a fun one for Halloween because it's pumpkin.
Exactly, right? Even though the Pumpkinheads really look so much like a xenomorph in their design.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've actually never seen Pumpkinhead 1. So
Lots of people say it's good.
yeah, I think so too. I think I've heard the same thing, right? So I'm assuming it's also pretty good. So I'm kind of excited to go into it not watching it.
Yeah, me
and I'm
too.
sure when I do watch Pumpkinhead 1, it'll probably make me appreciate it more. If this one is,
Absolutely.
as the critics say, is really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, tune in with us next week, and then we will also, I guess, on the same day we'll be releasing these because they'll both come out on Tuesday, which is Halloween.
Let's
31st.
Let's live pick which Halloween movie we're gonna watch.
Oh my God! I guess we have to do that right now. Huh?
Yep,
Oh,
that's what we
man.
did with the last
Oh boy.
special.
Oh boy, what do we do? There's so many. There's so many Halloweens.
Hold on, I gotta pull up the list of them. How was your day?
That's good. You know, I recorded a podcast. We talked. I finally got it out of my system. Now I can forget this movie ever existed for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's good. So
Can we watch the one where he's got those really scary eyes? What is that? Like
one was
Halloween,
that
like
one?
H2O?
I think so.
Let's see.
The worst rated one is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995 at a
Curse of
8%.
Michael Myers. Oh my God.
Halloween Resurrection was sitting at a 10%.
Derek, just look at a picture of Michael Myers from H2O.
People always talk shit on that
Because they
movie.
talk about how he's got the devil's eyes. They're black as all night. And you can clearly see a human's blue eyes under the
Oh
mask here. It's pretty bad.
H2O is a 54%
It's a little
though.
high though. I guess maybe
Yeah,
not that
no,
one.
it's not that one, dude.
So what'd you say is the lowest?
The lowest is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers.
The Curse of Michael Myers.
Or Halloween Resurrection.
Oh, I don't know. Curse of Michael Myers is sitting at 8%. I think that'd be pretty fun.
That's
wanna
where
go?
I'm at, too.
Let's go there. All
Let's
right.
go there.
There it is. Locked and loaded. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers.
Released in 1995.
Sitting at an 8%.
Woof.
Yep. So that'll
woof,
be our
woof.
Halloween special. So you get a 2-for-1 deal on Halloween this year, kiddos.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep. Thank you all of you for listening through our,
Yes, we
our
love
antics.
you.
I know we were on a weird one
Wait,
this episode.
this is perfect.
yeah. What's up?
Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers is considered a holiday movie.
Well, there we go. It's perfect. Go, please, if you feel so inclined, you like what we do here, go follow us on our social medias where we keep updated on stuff. We got Instagram at @that_was_horrible, Twitter or X at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, and YouTube at That Was Horrible.
Let's do it. Let's stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Please don't get possessed.
Look at me, I'm floating, Derek. I've been possessed.
I
Pull me
just.
down from the ceiling, Derek. I'm flying away.
All right,
Derek.
everybody. I'm gonna go deal with that. Everyone have a good week. Stay spooky.